I am so excited to continue today, day two from day one, and go deeper with you guys on all of the things that you can do to compound into a six-figure brand. So, if we are moving from this energy of pressure in showing up in our businesses and in continuing the momentum, not only is it going to feel hard, but we're going to continue to dip in and out. And if we're not dipping in and out within the consistent action, we're actually going to be dipping in and out energetically. Because something I want you guys to know is that action and energy align together when we are building a six-figure brand. If one of these spaces is lacking, if you are doing action without the energy, it is going to feel pressury. It's going to feel exhausting. You're going to fall in and out. And if you do the action or the energy without the action, then you're going to be doing what a lot of people are teaching. And something I'm going to talk today about is a little bit of the energy of what has been happening within this industry and our desires, and how there's a lot of people who say, take baths all day and you can sign $100,000 clients. And while this is true, those people worked to get to that point. And they did things in alignment to get to that point. And I love that messaging. And also, it doesn't bring attention to the journey, right? How many times have you seen that? Just hold the energy and the pay in full client will come. Just hold the energy and your launch will sell out. Just hold the energy and your business will all work out. And so many of us, it sounds amazing. It sounds like, "Ah, yes, that sounds fun." But then we forget that this is a co-creative process with us in the universe where action is going to be called through us as well. And if we haven't done the energy work, then the action isn't going to be called through. And if we just believe it's energy and we're confused about the actions we're taking and we get into analysis paralysis and the inability to take action because it feels like so much, we're going to be stuck either way. Yesterday, what we really talked about was consistency. And something that we were really able to tap into is I'm consistent because I'm tapped into my bigger vision, and I'm consistent because I'm consistent. I'm not consistent to see a result. Because if we're consistent to see a result, we're going to be constantly dropping in and out of the energy. We're going to constantly be doing the thing and going, what do I need to fix? Something needs to be fixed here. Something needs to change here. I'm not feeling the energy of sustainability. I'm not feeling the energy of momentum. Oh, something didn't happen today. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to go sign up for another content course. I'm going to do all of the things. And this energy is keeping us from seeing that popping off that so many people see within their businesses, where it's like we want to keep going, right? And if we are only consistent, if we are only tapped into the energy of our big long-term vision when everything's popping off and people are reaching out and the money's flowing and the clients are happening, then our power is extremely circumstantial and we are not tapped into a deeper level of power where we can be that without the external validation. Because if our businesses are solely run on external validation, first off, good luck. Second off, it's going to feel hard. And third off, we are not connecting to why we are actually doing this. Is it incredible to create income? I will be the first to say, I love calling in money. It's incredible. And also, if that was why I was doing this, I wouldn't be here, right? I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to sustain this because I wouldn't be tapped into a bigger vision that was pulling me. And that's really the point of what day one was about, is it's about having a vision that is so big that it pulls you. Because how many times have you felt like you're pushing your business along? How many times has it felt like, okay, got to do this thing on the checklist, got to do this thing on the checklist, got to do this thing on the checklist, and you're pushing your business along and going, hey, when's it going to work? Where's the clients? Where's the money? Pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, waiting for those things to drop in and waiting for those things to happen. That is the goal of what we talked about yesterday, is you want to feel pulled, right? And when you have something bigger than you, bigger than money, bigger than just I have to be consistent and make this sale. I have to be consistent and pull in this amount of money. But there's something bigger than you pulling you along. Then all of a sudden, consistency gets easy. That's what I really want to tune you into. And so, yesterday I said something I said consistency for consistency's sake. And I know that that landed for so many of you. But there also may be this thing in the back of your head going, well, what if I am consistent and it doesn't work, right? And that's where we tune back into the vision. But consistency for consistency's sake, and I'm so excited about what we're talking about today because this is where we actually get tangible. This isn't all just energetics, but we start with energy first. The reason why is because energy guides strategy. Energy guides the 3D. Energy guides the doing. Because what starts to happen when you're connected to your deeper vision and you start to actually get connected to the tangible things that you can do based on that connection to that deeper vision is something called momentum kicks in. And momentum is the energy of something carrying itself, where you give it a push, where you're doing the things, but then all of a sudden the ball is rolling. And what momentum really gets to feel like, it gets to be this way in your business, where you're pushing a snowball and all of a sudden there's a hill, right? And you're pushing your snowball and you're pushing your snowball. And I'm not going to act like there's not a period of time and periods of time within your business where you're holding the vision without the external validation, right? That happens for me. That happens for people who are making multi-millions. That happens for people in the beginning of their business. So might as well get strong at that muscle that says, even though it looks like things are not working in this moment, I understand the frequency of momentum. I understand that if I am connected to my deeper vision and I continue to push that snowball, all of a sudden that snowball will be rolling down the hill and I'll be behind it, right? It's a downward hill. It's not an upward hill. And so that's the frequency that we really want to tune into. And consistency is the best way to feel that frequency of momentum. But the only way to tap into consistency for consistency's sake is to be attached to a deeper vision, something that is bigger than us. Because until we are tapped into something bigger than us, it is going to feel like an ant pushing a rock up a hill. It is going to feel that way. So let's talk about consistency for consistency's sake. When it comes to consistency, something I want you guys to know is we're not just creating content. We're not just putting up a post. We're not just creating a story to create a story of our cat, of the fact that, I'm like, where is my cat? Of us just doing yoga, right? If you guys watch my stories, you will see that I have these things that I post about my life. If you guys watch my feed, I post things about human design and energetics and money. But something we forget is that consistency for consistency's sake is not the energy of a checklist, of a checkbox of, okay, I posted in my Facebook group today. Okay, I sent an email today. Okay, I posted on my feed. Okay, I posted on my stories. How many times have you gotten into that energy where it's just creating for the sake of creating to get a checkbox marked? Because there's a deeper level of intentionality I want you guys to bring to this energy of consistency, and that is why. Because even if I was consistent, if I shared a post every single day on how to decondition within your human design, or a positive money quote, then I'm not going to see the same momentum. Is this making sense? So there's actually something deeper for us to tap into, is consistency with a why behind it. What is your why when you're posting a certain piece of content? What is the why when you are posting your story? Is it just to check a box, or is there an intention? Is there a reason? Because I think so many people hear the energy of consistency for consistency's sake and tapping into consistency, and then they go and they share content and they share content and they share content and they share content and they share the things they know and they share a fact here and they share a quote here, and then they wonder, why aren't the things popping? Consistency for consistency's sake with a why is the sweet spot that is going to transform your business. Because if there's a level of intentionality, then all of a sudden you're not just sharing a fact. There's something it's tied to. And I truly believe that when you post every piece of content within your business with an intention, then things start to expand. And things start to expand massively, right? And so something I used to do is I used to do that. I used to post a piece of content here and I'd be like, oh, yay, life's amazing. Worked with a client today. Oh, yay, here's a fact on deconditioning. And I was like, where is that popping off that so many people are seeing within their brands and in their businesses? Content with intention is the way to scale. So I'm going to go into examples. Every single time I go into creating content, there is an intention behind it. So oftentimes I will share things where yesterday I was climbing, I went rock climbing after my call with you guys, and I shared about desire. And I shared an example of what happens when we are in the frequency of desire and how we make things in our business less do or die, and we're actually able to tap into a frequency of doing from alignment. Now, when I think about the why behind that piece of content, it inspires, it tells people what I believe, it shows people who I am behind the scenes, and it establishes my leadership in energetics. Do you see that there's a lot more going on than me just posting an image of me climbing and an inspirational quote? There have been posts where I'm going to pull up my Instagram feed. I want to go through some of these with you guys because I think that'll benefit you even more. I'm so excited. So, another incredible one, dissipating fear and going for what you want. That was an energetic transmission that I did on Instagram. Was this a conversation that I wanted to have with everybody? Yes, this was something that I'm living in embodiment with. I am living in embodiment with dissipating fears. I'm helping my clients through that. This is something that I want to talk about. And also, the reason why I talked about it in the way that I did is because if I think about who's going to read that, it's somebody who's moving through an up level, or it's somebody who feels stuck. So what did I do? I tied that content back to the Six-Figure Aligned Ascension Academy to help them understand that that was their next step. And in that energetic transmission, I offered them ways to work through the fear. I also offered them examples on how to actually dissipate the fear. So what does that content do? That content helps people self-identify and go, dissipating fear and going for what you want. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's something I'm struggling with. I'm having a lot of fear right now, because we want our content to make people go, oh, that's me. I need to learn more. Oh, that's me. I need to read more. Is your content eliciting that for people? Or is it just a bunch of facts? Because we can teach people things. We can go into something that somebody can learn. But is it eliciting a feeling of, that's me. I need to learn more. This is a post that I need to save. Or, I agree with that. I'm going to share that to my stories. Do you see how a different level of intention comes through? Right? Another post that I shared, I had my first 100K cash month when I embodied this energetic frequency. Who's going to read that? Somebody who is tapping into their first 100K cash month. And what did I do? I brought examples, and I also brought a lot of value around how we make things mean stuff about us within our business, right? And what I did is I tapped them into this energetic frequency, and then at the end, I talked about my private coaching, and I talked about my high-level mastermind Rich for women who are ready to scale their businesses to $50,000+ months, right? And so there's a tie in there. I'm not doing it to get a sale, right? Even if I were to go on my Instagram feed and post about an offer, what I'm doing is I'm sharing that offer because it's a gift for me to share the things that people can come into. And also, I'm not going to just say, I have a program, I have a course, I have a mastermind. I'm going to say, if you are here, this is for you. If you want to experience X, this is for you. If you're confused about getting from here to here, this is for you. If you want to get from here to here in this way, this is for you. Do you see the difference? That level of intention when you are sharing your content, when you are posting your things, when you are allowing, sharing your gifts with people, and sharing your offerings, this allows people to go, oh, that's me. Oh, I vibe with that. Oh, I agree with that. Oh, she knows something. She's being the way I want to be within my own life. She's the go-to person for this. Have you thought about that on a really deep level? Whenever you're sharing, what is the intention behind the piece of content? Even yesterday, I shared a photo of a little video of my cat. And I could have just posted a video of my cat on my stories and been like, oh my God, I love my cat. She's perfect. And I did say that. But I also said, I'm taking a call with a one-on-one client today. I'm making investments today. I'm going to create content with Luke today. And what is beneath that? Because those are words, right? But what's underneath that is there's a level of ease. There's a level of, oh my gosh, Christy loves to take calls with her one-on-one clients. Oh my gosh, Christy has one call on a Friday. That's phenomenal. Oh my gosh, Christy's making investments. That means she's doing smart things with her money. Oh my gosh, that means that she is actually like making the income she says she's making. And I'm not here to prove that I'm making the income that I'm making, but I do want to make smart moves with that. And I want women who come into my world who aren't about making 10K and spending 9,888 per month so there's nothing left to invest, right? Like that's something that I value. So that value came through me creating content with Luke. That shows that there's a lightness to my creation. There's an artistry to my creation, and that I'm doing it with my partner. That shows that I'm in such a soul-aligned relationship with somebody who does something similar to me, and I have the freedom to go spend time and space with him in that creation and artistry process. Does that make sense? So what you're starting to do with consistency for consistency's sake is you are starting to read between the lines on your own content. You're starting to get a more critical way of analyzing, what does somebody think when they see this? What does somebody feel when they see this? What am I communicating beneath the scenes with this? I see so many people online sharing a fact, right? Sharing a how-to. And I share facts and I share how-tos, but there's a level of intention. And when somebody sees what I'm sharing, they immediately go, oh, that's me, right? That's me. You will rarely see me post just a photo of myself on my Instagram feed. You will see me post photos of myself on my Instagram stories. You'll see me post photos of myself within my content on Facebook and my Facebook group, but that first sentence, somebody goes, oh, that's me. Oh, I want to read more. Oh, her story has something deeper than just her face. Oh, that Instagram slide, I can tell by the first slide that I'm going to learn something here, that I'm going to benefit, that I'm going to tap into something. Something we forget is people care about what we have to say, but what people care about most is how they are going to benefit, right? I truly believe that the people in my audience care what I have to say. And also, I am very, very, very conscientious of the reason why you are here is because you are deriving value from this. You are getting a transformation. So for me to just speak my mind on the internet all day, wow, that's incredible. Where's the point A to point B? How does this perspective apply to you? How does this benefit your life? When we start to tune into that, we start to take a bird's eye view of what we're creating, and we get out of the, oh my gosh, I have to create to check a box off of a list. Oh, I have to be consistent today. And we start to tune into this perspective of, what do they see here? What is the intention of this? What is the purpose? Does somebody see this and go, oh, that's me. I can learn something here. I can benefit. I want to know this perspective. There's a process that's here to support me. Is this changing the way that you see creating your content? Is this changing the way that you see consistency for consistency's sake? Because consistency is freaking incredible. Will get the ball rolling on your momentum. But when you really start to understand the intention behind your content, then all of a sudden, you are backed by energy and strategy. You are backed with a clear guiding of what's happening from your content, right? Sometimes I share content for the sake of getting a lot of engagement and lots of shares so I can grow my audience, right? Sometimes I share something that really brings somebody into the behind the scenes of my heart and who I am. Sometimes I share something to show people the power of my work within my own life and within the lives of my clients. Sometimes I share something to give somebody a how-to to get from point A to point B and tie it back to an offer that I have, right? And so when we start to see this, when we start to do this, all of a sudden the photo of our cat on Instagram becomes a moment to bring people behind the scenes of who we are being, how we are thinking, and how we are feeling within our business. Because I want to tell you guys this. If you are selling based off of facts, you can make money in your business. If you are teaching people the facts and not sharing them, bringing them in to your level of embodiment, you can make money. But you want to know how you start to tap into the next level, where you start to call people in based on who you are being. That feeling when somebody wants to work with you for who you are and how you grow and who you be, there's something different about that. This is how you get that to land, right? Where you start thinking about, what do people see in me in this content? What do people see about my being? What do people see about my perspectives? What do people see about how I overcame this situation? What do people see about what I believe about ease, what I believe about money, what I believe about whatever I'm teaching about, right? Do people see me living that? Do people see me being the living, breathing, embodied example of that? And do they see the result of that in my life? Because, guys, there's a million people teaching business. There's a million people teaching you to grow your income. There's a million people teaching human design. There's a million people teaching astrology. There's a million people teaching mindset. The thing that is going to step you into the next level of income is tuning into, what is the purpose behind this piece of content? What am I communicating here? What do I desire to happen from this piece of content? And then we don't get overly attached to that certain thing happening. So in order for us to get that bird's eye view on our content, we don't just want to post our content and just do the thing. I actually go back and I look at my content and I will literally get into the viewpoint of how would I feel seeing this if I didn't know myself? I get detached and I go, oh, a post on how to sell out your offers in the new paradigm. It's not about what you teach. And I go, okay, who's looking at this? Somebody who wants to sell out their offers. Whoever's looking at this is going to go, in the new paradigm, I wonder what a new paradigm is. Ooh, it's not about what you teach. There's something for me here, right? So that's what I initially see when I look at that post. So when I click on it, I'm going through and I'm like, oh, the new paradigm is being instead of how, right? Let me actually move my phone so I can read my post. Ooh, so because when you're tapped into how to get there based on someone else's results and how they've done it, there's a disconnect from your path of least resistance. So when I'm reading that, I'm going, wow, okay, so somebody who resonates with that, they're going to see what Christy stands for, being instead of how. They might have a revelation about, oh my gosh, I've been trying to do it like everybody else for so long and it hasn't been landing, it hasn't worked. No wonder. They're going, oh my goodness, I've been trying to teach facts and it hasn't been working, so they're going to want to continue, right? Oh my gosh. So they're reading this and then I write. I've seen this over and over. People wondering why their things aren't selling because I know so much, I teach so much, this worked for me, right? And so I said, but in a space of over-information, people are no longer interested in your perfect three-step strategy on how to do it. So people are having another light bulb moment and they're going, oh my gosh, I teach so much. I know so much. This worked for me. I've got these three-step strategies, but it feels like things are not selling out. Why is that? And so they're going to continue. They're going to wonder, right? And so it says they're interested in being the person who does it, right? So the embodiment and integration are what the next level women are paying for. So what does this let people know? This lets people know where there may be a problem. It gives them tangible evidence on what they want to shift because they're going, oh my gosh, I need to share more of myself. I need to share more of my story. I need to share more of my being. It's also letting people know Christy knows how to do this. I wouldn't be able to write on this if I didn't know how to do this because I'm telling them what can happen when they start to do this, when they start to tune into this, where they start calling in higher level clients, higher paying clients, where they start to call in the money, where they start to call in things popping off within their brand because they start to call in their soul people, the people who are like, I want Christy because I want Christy, not because Christy knows a fact on strategy. So this goes deeper, right? And then I ask them, oh my gosh, and the only way you can translate this new paradigm in your containers is through your own activation within them. I give them that tangible piece of you have to be connected, right? And then I ask them, are you being or are you just teaching things? It doesn't matter if it's one-on-one, a program, a course, a masterclass. My job is to activate the beingness within you, right? And so, if you've walked away knowing more and not being more, you've missed the magic. Does this make sense? Do you see how I'm like going through this? And so another one, the example I had where I shared my post on, I had my first 100K cash month when I embodied this energetic frequency. People are going, oh, okay, 100K cash month. You guys, I don't use my numbers solely to sell. If I were to just say on the internet, hey guys, I had a 100K cash month or I had a $500,000 year, people would be like, cool. They want to know who I'm being, right? And so I talk about energetics. I talk about, oh, this is a frequency that I learned. So what are people seeing when they look at this? They're going, oh, okay, somebody who did something that I want to do, somebody who understands the energetics, there's something to learn from her, and they're automatically starting to see me as an authority within the space of energetics, right? as they scroll through, they're going, oh man, she is in an energy and a level of personal power where she's not making things mean things about her. Because you guys, this year I have had failed launches. This year I have had programs that don't completely sell out, right? That is an illusion that we have to have those things in order to achieve the things that we desire, right? And so people are seeing this and they're going, wow, this woman has a level of personal power where she can experience something that is quote unquote less than ideal and make it mean nothing about her. And she had a 100K cash month. That means that she continues to go, that she continues to try, that she continues to show up for her bigger vision. So they're looking at this and they're going, oh, okay, well, what am I making things mean about me? So they're getting a result, they're getting a transformation, right? And then I'm teaching them something. I'm teaching them that somebody not signing up to your program or somebody signing up to your program, that's a neutral event. It's what we make it mean. Having a lower month last month than this month, that's a neutral event. People reaching out less today than they did yesterday, that's a neutral event. But if we put a bunch of emotion on it and we go, oh my gosh, because people aren't signing up, they don't like me. Oh my gosh, because this month is less than last month, that means that it's all going to continue to go downhill and that people don't want me anymore and this is just the end of everything. If we have a moment where let's say somebody doesn't buy into our program who we thought was going to, and we go, oh my gosh, this means my price is too high, or that I need to lower my price, or that I'm not good enough, or nobody's ever going to come. This is something I used to experience. When we have a really successful launch and we launch that thing again, what if all the people who are ever going to buy bought the first time and this time isn't going to work? You guys, all of these things are just neutral events, but we're making them mean something about us. Do you see how I'm starting to break down the behind the scenes of why these pieces of content exist? It's deep. And when we start to look at it, we start to go, can somebody tell that this is for them right away? That's something that I'm asking myself. What does this piece of content do? Does this benefit them in some way? And does this give them a transformation? When we tune into that, all of the sudden, it's like you have this bird's eye view. Is this landing? Do you guys understand how to take this bird's eye perspective? Because I didn't just want to tell you here to be consistent for consistency's sake. I wanted to tell you how, right? I wanted to tell you the deeper meaning because the energy is so incredibly important and foundational. And if we went into this piece yesterday, there would be hyperanalyzation and there would be, oh my gosh, I could mess this up. Oh my gosh, I could get it wrong. But when we build off of that connection to our deeper vision and we tap into consistency for consistency's sake because we are being pulled by something bigger than us instead of pushing, all of a sudden the pressure is off. And when the pressure is off, all of a sudden each piece of content is something we can look at and we can go, what is the purpose of this? What is the intention behind this? And all of a sudden, we're able to bring in strategy from an extremely powerful place where it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to get this right. Oh my gosh, I could get this wrong. It's the energy of, what do we have here? What's my intention? What is the goal? I promise you that if you tune into this frequency where you are consistent and you take this perspective and this point of view when creating your content, you will see massive momentum within your business. I cannot tell you when, I cannot tell you how, but I can guarantee it because this is the frequency of being energetically aligned and taking aligned action that is strategic within your business. And when you do this, we get so in the process and so in love with the process that the result is inevitable because it's part of our deeper vision. We felt it, we've tuned into it, and now we get to make the minor adjustments, the minor tweaks, the minor pivots, and we get to go look at our content and say, is this something where somebody goes, oh, that's me? Is this something where the transformation that they're going to receive is obvious? Is this something that establishes us as an authority? Is this something that somebody might want to save? Or is this something where somebody goes, I feel exactly the same way, I'm going to share this? I'm going to tap you into one more incredibly important frequency. Before we start tomorrow, tomorrow is going to be freaking incredible. And this energy is massively important and massively powerful as you scale your business. And I kind of mentioned this in the beginning, where we see a lot of coaches teaching about deep ease. And I teach about deep ease, right? I live with so much ease in my life and so much alignment, but I still do things, right? And so a lot of us can drop our energy because we can get in a space of needing the result to happen in a certain way based on what we are seeing other people achieve. How many times have you felt like this, where you felt disappointed and almost expectant of things to go so fast, of things to land so fast, and when they don't, you go, I'm wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Something that is massively important for scaling to 6 figures and even beyond that is learning how to play the long game while simultaneously holding the energy of this can pop off at any moment. That is the magic. That is the sweet spot. That is the place where you will see incredible magic within your brand, because so many people go to one side or the other and never combine these frequencies. This frequency will change everything for you. There have been points in my brand, and I've seen this so much for so many entrepreneurs who come to me, where it's like, Christy, I did the thing, why did it not sell out? Christy, I made a post, why aren't 10 people reaching out for my one-on-one? Christy, I launched a masterclass and nobody signed up after the masterclass. I guess I'm just going to drop my energy for the rest of the launch. And that doesn't take into account the long game that you are playing, right? We have to get out of this energy of completely just not having this dedication to what we are here to do. Because I'm not going to lie to you, this work does take dedication. Do I sometimes make money when I'm in the bathtub? Yes, but there was things that went into that before that moment. And when we forget that, and we just expect things to pop off and then get bitter or resentful or think it's not working just because it's not popping off, we are not playing the long game. Right? We get so expectant that it's like a level of complacency of it just should work. Why is it just not working? Why do I have to show up? Why do I have to hold the energy? I should put out the post and everybody should be in my inbox like, Christy, I want to work with you. Christy, I want to work with you. How many times have you gotten into that energy? And I tell you this because I have been there, done that, got the cake. I thought after my first $50,000 month that everything was smooth sailing from there, that I was never going to have to try again. That was a wake-up call. That one smacked me in the face hard. You still got to show up for it, right? And every launch after that was not a sold-out launch. There were still moments where things feel slow. And so I have to be dedicated. I have to play the long game. I have to hold the energy for the long vision, right? This is something I see so many people get massively frustrated with, where they're like, why am I not? I have clients who have talked to me and they go, Christy, I just want to be the person who posts a thing and gets 10 people reaching out. They want to be in the energy of Why are some of these coaches sharing a thing and then all of a sudden they're sold out 3 days later? And I'm like, they worked to get there. We're open to that energy happening without needing it to happen in order to hold our dedication. In order to hold our dedication, right? We don't want to get complacent within this. We don't just want to be one of the people, quote unquote, at the top. And that's an illusion too, because I'm like, why can't I just see myself at the quote unquote top now? Why can't I see myself as a desired person now? Why can't I see myself as somebody who people want to work with now? What is the tipping point where I suddenly decide that? Oh, if that's based on an external circumstance, then that's me not owning my personal power. But also, there was a level of dedication. There was a level of not getting complacent. There was a level of, I am dedicated to this, but we don't just want to stay there. We don't just want to stay in the energy of, I am dedicated to this, and I'm just going to keep doing the thing every single day and get the momentum rolling. We want to be in the energy of, I'm dedicated to this, and things can pop off and freaking blow my mind at any moment. That is where the magic happens. Because a lot of people, when they hang out over here, they're actually in the dedication. They're actually subtly conforming to logical results. They're subtly going, I guess it has to take this long and this much effort before I start to see magic. And I'm like, let's do the thing and hold the frequency for magic without needing it, because I'm going to do the thing anyway. Does that make sense? Does that land? Because then all of a sudden, there's this energy of magic. There's this energy of excitement. There's this energy of, this post could literally get me 10 clients. Or welcome in 10 clients, right? We don't get clients, we welcome them in. But this post could literally attract 10 soulmate clients. And also, I don't need it to. This story could literally sell out my entire launch. I could be waitlisted after this. But also, I don't need it to keep going. When you combine both of these energetics, you will see magic popping off within your reality. And also, when the magic comes, you won't get complacent. And when the magic isn't there, you're not going to get stuck in logic of like, another day, another post. It's both. It's the frequency of both. And when you can simultaneously play in these frequencies, there is something that unlocks for you. And this is where we start to play in quantum leap energy, which I have so much to say on quantum leaps, you guys. There's things coming on quantum leaps. But this is the energy. Because now we're tapped into vision. Now we're tapped into creating momentum. Now we're tapped into looking at the reason behind the consistency for consistency's sake, and we're asking, why? What do they say? What do they see here? What am I saying? What is the bigger truth that I'm communicating? What is the transformation? What's in it for them? When we start to tune into that, and we simultaneously hold the energy of dedication, while this could pop at any moment, we are in quantum leap energy. You guys, we do not try to quantum leap. I could never try to quantum leap, right? Having my first $100,000 year, having my first $100,000 year, and then going to 500,000, having a $100,000 year, and then next year having a month that was that much. You guys, and the quantum leaps within energy reflect that first, right? It's not about the money. It's about the level of power. It's the transformations for the clients. You can't try to get into that energy. You do the things. You are consistent from the energy of I am dedicated to this. And also, there is room for magic, and you don't need the magic to be in the dedication, but the dedication does not close you off to the viewpoint of being open to magic, to being open to a quantum leap at any moment, to being open to one aligned action completely changing your entire freaking life. You guys, I am so deeply excited about this conversation. This is a conversation that has literally changed my life. These frequencies will change you. They will step you into such a deep level of alignment. When you guys are really going for this, when you are really stepping into that six-figure version of yourself, there are going to be fears. There are going to be portals. There are going to be moments where it feels like things aren't working. And that's why we focus so heavily on energetics within the Six-Figure Aligned Ascension Academy, because we need to know how to deal with it when moments look like it's not working, when it looks like things are not adding up, when it looks like something's going to fail, when it looks like this just isn't for us, right? And so it has been such a deep honor sharing all of this with you guys. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.